that magic. I think she is art in the air. She is more than an aeroplane. She has a presence to her that causes people to stop what they're doing. She causes grown men to cry. I never quite figured out why, but she does. She has that sort of feeling about her. Incidentally, we were talking about that original drawing of Roy Chadwick's. If you stretch it by about a half, you get recognisably Concorde, because Vulcan was, of course, an antecedent of Concorde. Olympus engines, Rolls-Royce, not quite the same, but nonetheless the same name, and very much of the same family. Flying for us today, in the left-hand seat, the captain, Phil O'Dell, Pod, who normally flies for Rolls-Royce as their chief test pilot, flies their Spitfire when it's around. In the left-hand seat, Martin Withers, the man who flew the Vulcan. There, you've got a very brief Vulcan howl. You'll never be quite sure when that's going to happen, but you can tell your grandchildren you've heard the Vulcan howl. You might have heard it on takeoff. From where we are, I couldn't tell whether it happened, because it does kind of depend on where you are in relation to the aeroplane. So now Phil O'Dell is pulling her around into a tight curve and lining her back up with the runway. And you notice that she can sneak up on you very quietly. There's that great, lovely triangular shape. It's not quite as big as you might think. It's about the size of a small airliner. Nearly exactly, but of course she has that. It's all filled in. It's not standard aeroplane cruciform shape. The Americans used to refer to her as the aluminum overcast because it goes dark when she flies over. And she was amazingly successful during the Cold War days when she was being part of our nuclear deterrent. She was a nuclear bomber originally. She used to go across to America and take part in their red flag exercises, and they discovered that although she's a 1950s aeroplane, she was actually stealthy long before stealth, in aeronautical terms, had been thought of. And so they couldn't pick her up on the radar. And when she comes towards you, you can see how slim she is, and you can also see that the bomb doors are open. Now that is the enormous bomb bay that holds, or used to hold, 21,000 pounds of bombs, 21 1,000-pound bombs. And that was the bomb load that Martin Withers, in the right-hand seat today, flew on the longest bombing raid in history from Ascension Island to the Falkland Islands. That's 30 years ago this year. And the British fighter back to take them. As manoeuvrable as a fighter. You can see there the lovely angle of bank that Pod's putting in. Of course, in the very early days when she flew here at Farnborough, I actually saw this happen with my own eyes. Rowley Falk, the great test pilot, did indeed do a roll in her. He didn't do all that many because people were rather tutting, but it can be done. We're not allowed to do it ourselves. To get this aeroplane to the state she is today, she retired from the Royal Air Force in 1993, and everybody thought that was the last time we'd see the Vulcan. She was immensely popular even then. But David Walton bought this aeroplane and all the spares, and eventually along came Dr. Robert Fleming, and the result was the Vulcan to the Sky Trust. And they achieved the most complex restoration to flight of any military aircraft there's ever been. That's what this is. That's how difficult it's been. And it's cost upwards of £10 million. It still costs £2 million a year to run this aeroplane. There's been enormous support from the industry, from CAA, from all sorts of aviation companies, particularly Sir Jack Hayward and Eddie Forrester of Aerobytes, Marshall Aerospace, AD Holdings, BAE Systems, EADS, Goodrich, Judd Power, Kearsley Airways, Meggitt, Messier, Doughty, Rolls-Royce and Serco. But most of all, she's been contributed to by you. And as she comes in with her wheels down, she won't be landing this time. She flies over our heads. She's doing a lowish overshoot. Here coming up the undercarriage, touching back to a fairly flat 360-degree turn. And we're very nearly at the end here, and we'll be seeing the wheels come down again before too long. I said a 360-degree turn. I was slightly behind myself. She'd already done that. But anyway, if you have not been down to the Vulcan village, which is at the far left beyond the Lancaster where she was parked earlier, she will be returning there this evening. They'd really love to see you. There's all sorts of stuff to do there, but you see her be brought back into her parking position, ready to display again tomorrow. And you can actually get the feeling of being up close with her. Okay, not the downwind leg as I was suggesting. So we have one more time to see her accelerate away and hear the power of those Rolls-Royces. She does make the Earth move. 16,500 pounds of static thrust from each of those engines. Sad to say, 2 of them got destroyed earlier this year. Jubilee year didn't start off very well for Vulcan, but the amazing team of engineers that look after her, under Taft Stone, the crew chief, and Andrew Edmondson, the engineering boss, managed to get 2 engines all ready and back up and fitted in the Vulcan, and she appeared again last week. She'd missed all of her Jubilee celebrations, which was immensely sad, but at least she's back with us, and we hope she's going to do another 21 or so displays this year. But please do go down and support her at the Vulcan Village. If you want to contribute from where you are, you can do that by means of texting on your mobile. I see she's changed her direction of landing. Thanks, Stratton, for that. And I thought that might be what was happening. She's going to land from left to right on the 06 runway, the wind having changed slightly. So you'll see her come in from your left. I'll tell you about the texting thing in just a moment when she's there, but she's on her final approach, or very nearly, on what they call the base leg. She's turning continuously. Pilot on the left-hand side there, Phil O'Dell, keeping the runway in sight as he turns, and then she'll level the wings, and you'll see her drop down onto the runway. I don't think she'll use her braking parachute today. She probably doesn't need to on this runway, and it's quite expensive every time we do it, so we don't use it unless we really have to, but he might. And you can see the air brakes out, top and bottom of the wings there. Rather strange setup of the air brakes. She's just touching down as we speak now. That's 16 wheels down on the deck. I see Pod is keeping the nose well up. What that does is to present that enormous area of wing to the airflow and slow her down more quickly. The nose wheel is now down, so that's 18 wheels down, and the Vulcan has landed. And how lovely to see her once again. And if you want to support her, please get your mobile out and send a text to 770 700